everybody, what is going on? Welcome to Regular Josh 1. Please take the time now to hit that like button in this video, and if you're new, subscribe. Fairly Odd Parents, Fairly Odder. Oi, this is, I'm almost speechless. I went into this honestly dreading watching the show, but I still wanted to give it at least a fair chance. I'm sorry, but there is almost nothing positive that I can say about this new show. It was kind of hard to watch. Granted, I've certainly watched worse than this, and I've managed to watch about 6 episodes. I just don't see how anyone thought this was a good idea, especially when you consider the fact that this is a goddamn sitcom. If it was in the style of, say, Andy Mack or even a show like Big Time Rush or something, it would have probably worked better. But sitcoms are cheaper to make than those, and they're also faster to film as well. Speaking of cheap, this show was so cheaply made. Considering that the people who did the animation on the show were reportedly on a time crunch for this, it explains a lot as to why the animation looks so terrible. I mean, look at this scene for the season finale. It's honestly abhorrent. It's very inexcusable. The comedy in the show is very odd. Maybe that's why it's called Fairly Odder. It relies on pop cultural references and not clever ones, may I add. Of course Cosmo knows who Olivia Rodrigo is, and of course Viv and Wanda know about Hamilton and Lin-Manuel Miranda because those totally exist in their universe. TikTok doesn't exist though. Instead, we got Click Clock. And instead of Paramount Plus, you got Fairy Mount Plus. Makes sense to me! Also, the show clearly tries to give us some fourth wall jokes as well, and even some attempts at meta humor, I guess, but it just doesn't work. And sometimes they repeat these jokes over and over again, but with Cosmo and Wanda this time. Man, they do a great job just massacring these characters in the show. Speaking of, the characters are really mainly uninteresting in the show. You got Viv, who lived on a farm and she doesn't like attention, until she wants attention later on. Okay. You got Roy, who's the popular kid with an incredibly eccentric mother. You got this weird, creepy girl that stalks Roy and constantly likes taking pictures of him and always wants to smell him. And she adds nothing. Honestly, she is a very pointless character to me. The mother and father in this show are certainly odd, but I can at least tolerate them. And apparently, Vicky is in the show as a school teacher. Okay, 2 things. 1, that's not Vicky. Nope, absolutely not. You cannot convince me that is Vicky. And 2, Vicky apparently has the hots for Mr. Crocker. Ew. Just ew. In the last video about this, one of the things that did concern me about the show was with Viv getting Cosmo and Wanda. I was hoping that we could have at least gotten more of an understanding as to why she got them, but this show still doesn't really give us a reason here. Why did Timmy think that Viv even deserved them? Yes, she's thrown into this new lifestyle now, but she is far from miserable. She doesn't even need fairies to adapt. She would eventually get used to Dimmsdale and probably would have made some friends along the way regardless. She's not popular, but who cares? That doesn't warrant fairy godparents. And Roy, one of the most popular kids in the school, who arguably has a pretty good life from what we've seen, gets to also have Cosmo and Wanda just because he solved them when Timmy was revealing them to Viv. Also, I have to admit, Viv isn't really all that likable in the first episode, mainly because despite her father being happy in his new life and Roy being happy that he now has a sibling, she just wants to take that all away from them so that she can be happy. We don't even see her having a terrible time in Dimmsdale for a while. She just instantly wants to go back to the farm. Look, I get it. Moving can be very difficult for kids, and of course, they would want to return home. But again, why does this warrant her getting fairy godparents? She could have at least tried to give this new life a chance before wanting to make that wish, but nope. Screw the happiness of Dad and Roy. That doesn't matter. Besides that, she's not really a bad character, I guess, but not really that interesting, so there you go. To be honest with you here, that's really the most I have to say about this show. I mean, okay, I could say a whole lot more, but I guess I just want to move on from this show. I just don't care anymore. But I do have to at least talk about the acting here, and it's not gonna go in the direction that you might think. I'll give them this. The actors are certainly putting their all into this performance. They do at least look like they're having fun in the show, and I'll admit, it probably is a little fun to play some of these ridiculous characters. Hell, if the show were to be renewed for a second season, very doubtful about that, and my agent somehow managed to get me booked for one of these episodes, I wouldn't turn it down, and I probably would just have as much fun as these actors are. Some of them just go all out with the craziness here. Laura Bell Bundy plays the eccentric mother, and she's kind of amazing in this. I don't think I've ever seen her in a role like this before, but damn does she commit to it. Now, does this save the show? No, not really. It does at least make it a tad bit tolerable because the acting in this show really isn't that bad to me. Believe me, I have seen way worse from other kids' sitcoms. But even so, actors can only do so much with the material and direction that they're given. As an actor myself who's been on the set of a couple of sitcoms, or just any sort of play that I've been in, I know exactly what that's like. So believe me, this show is not bad because of these actors. It's because of basically everything else. Admittedly, when I was rating this, I was gonna give it a 1 out of 10, but thinking about it, since the acting to me is a slight saving grace, just barely, I'll go ahead and give it a 2 out of 10. Certainly not the worst thing that I've seen, but I am definitely not a fan of this at all. So, have you guys seen the show yet? Did you enjoy it, or was this also hard for you to watch? Let me know down in the comments below. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, hit that like button, subscribe for more content, and hit the bell to be notified on my next video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and remember, you're hearing it from a regular bunny in a regular world. See you next time.